We've got some questions coming in from the participants, and I've got one that I would like to pose to both Dr. Tarun Bajaj and His Excellency Ambassador Bett from a different angle, each of you. The question originally was, are there any plans, APEDA, I think, for setting up Export Development Foundation for nutrition cereals? So, Dr. Bajaj, could you answer that? But I put to Ambassador Bett, what about something similar for the high value smart foods? Is there anything going on? Dr. Bajaj first, APEDA, anything doing?
Oh yes, it is not that we are thinking, we have done already. We realizing that there is a need for developing health food and also nutri-cereals. Also realizing that considering the present situation, the demand is increasing. We have already made export promotions forum, and the purpose is that we have, X is doing work in.
Am I the only one that can't hear Dr. Bajaj?
No, he's frozen for all of us.
Okay. Yeah. So while Dr. Bajaj gets back online, Ambassador Bett, is there something similar in Kenya, anywhere else in Eastern and Southern Africa that you know about?
For sure, I'm not aware of any at the moment, but it's a wonderful idea which I will need to find out and see if it's not existing, then we really have to start something like that. I think it's a good idea to take home from this session.
Okay, I have a question for all of you, and I'm going to focus it at Venkat Maroju first because he got up so early. We're running short of time, but could you give me in a quick sentence or two, if we increase production and increase demand and your digital technologies help this, are we not going to have huge fluctuations in prices, particularly for farmers and processors? What can we do about it?
Wow, that's a tough question. But I can try to answer. See, one of the one problem in agriculture, I mean, we see this all over the place, is crop diversification, right? I think we are, farmers produce something that is not, there's no demand, or there was a demand for last year and then everybody shifts their crops and then there's a glut in one area, and we see that all the time. So while the problem is very well known and a lot of people are grappling with that, as a technologist, right? I mean, see, one thing I will never say that technologies can never solve the world hunger. Okay, we are a small player in the whole thing, where we can enable capabilities, we can enable certain things that otherwise these organizations, governments, or all the players in the ecosystem do not have. That is what we could do. And so in that context, what you have is just having, when we go and digitize, just having this farmer profiling, farm profiling, what crops they are doing, having that level of basic data itself has so much power to give better insights, to solve issues like what you just said. So, for example, it is these are at the ecosystem level, a lot of governments and multilateral organizations, some research organizations, having the digital information about the crop patterns, what historical happened, can give you a lot better planning. We're talking about, probably you're right sitting there in Telangana, where they talk about crop colonies, right? I mean, this is the future, and without digitization, without having the data, very, very difficult to enable those things. Okay, there's political will, there is of course engaging this large employment sector, as well as so many things happen. But the crucial thing there is data, and that is where people like us will come into picture.
Thank you. Thank you. I saw Dr. Tarun Bajaj is back online. So Tarun, just so you know, we heard most of what you were going to say, I think. You said, yes, you already have. Perhaps could you, if there's a link for that or something, could you type it in the chat for the participant to be able to follow up? And then after we'd lost you, Ambassador Bett was saying that perhaps it's something he should look into for something from the other side, the other continent, and see how that can work. We're running very short of time, and I want to ask each of you for a favor. From everything you've heard, can each of you give me one top priority activity for Africa, India to collaborate to ensure that these smart food markets drive forward fast? If I can just suggest, I'm hoping Ambassador Bett is ready. What's your one key priority that we have to, as a group, follow?
I think to me, the priority is opening up our markets. Opening up markets for smart crops to access the Indian market, and opening up the African market for mostly finished smart foods from India. And if we sort out that, that the flow of trade between the two countries is facilitated, we will see an upward trend in development, production, and consumption of smart foods in our region.
Perfect, thank you. Tarun Bajaj, very quickly, one priority.
Yeah, very important, and most important according to me is demand generation. We create demand. As much demand we can create is going to, the backward things will start developing automatically. We need to create demand, and once demand is created, it cannot remain to one continent and one country itself. Then whosoever is able to supply best at a competitive price, that will win. Most important thing is create demand of these products. And now it is easy to create demand also comparatively because of the consciousness people have started having about health food.
Thank you, perfect. Rebbie Harawa, just one quickly.
Mechanization is going to be very critical. It's part of creating the demand. It's also part of bringing the youth to agriculture. We have heard that we have opportunities to get mechanization that fits in the African farming system with small plots of less than 2 hectares. Smart foods, most of them are small grains. They need threshers. They need value addition. So this mechanization in the next 5 years, I'm looking at the Ambassador Betty. Let's give ourselves a target. We want to see all these farmers growing these crops mechanized. I think it's possible, and we can do it to the rest of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebbie. And Venkat, Maroju, very, very quickly, one thing.
Yeah, just one sentence. Embrace digitization. Okay, it could be selfish, but that's I think there's a lot anybody could gain. So that's all. It's one word.
Thank you. Short and sweet. Digitization. Perfect. So as we're coming to the end of this session, I'd really like to thank Ambassador Bett, Tarun Bajaj, Venkat Maroju, Rebbie Harawa. I think we could have probably spoken for hours. We were getting somewhere good. There's a lot of questions that we couldn't take. So to the audience, thank you for listening. Thank you for your questions. And certainly I'm going to take them up and have a look at them because they focused on some very critical areas. So thank you very much for your time.